Introduction. Gradation of muscular activity refers to the ability of a whole muscle to vary the strength of its contraction according to functional needs. This property allows muscles to produce a wide range of forces, from very slight contractions involved in posture and fine movements like keeping the head upright, to strong contractions required for lifting heavy objects, although individual muscle fibers follow the all-or-none law. All-or-none response in a single muscle fiber. A single skeletal muscle fiber responds to stimulation in an all-or-none manner. When the strength of the stimulus reaches the threshold level, the muscle fiber contracts with its maximum possible force. If the stimulus is below threshold, the muscle fiber does not contract at all. Thus, a single muscle fiber shows either a complete response or no response. All or none response in a single motor unit. A motor unit consists of a single motor neuron and all the muscle fibers innervated by it. Similar to an individual muscle fiber, a single motor unit also follows the all-or-none law. When the motor neuron fires an action potential, all the muscle fibers belonging to that motor unit contract simultaneously and maximally. There is no partial contraction of fibers within a motor unit. Mechanisms of gradation of muscular activity. Gradation of muscular activity is achieved by regulating the number of muscle fibers activated and the frequency of stimulation. Graded muscle contraction of a whole skeletal muscle is achieved by two main mechanisms: multiple motor unit summation, which is also called spatial summation, and frequency summation, which is also called temporal summation. Spatial summation. In spatial summation, a motor unit consists of one motor neuron and the muscle fibers it supplies. When the stimulus is weak, only a few motor units are activated, so the muscle contraction is weak. As the strength of the stimulus increases, more motor units are recruited, causing a gradual increase in the force of contraction. Motor units are recruited according to Hennemann's size principle, in which small motor units are activated first. As greater force is required, progressively larger motor units are recruited. Small motor units innervate fewer muscle fibers and are responsible for fine, precise movements such as eye or finger movements, whereas large motor units innervate many muscle fibers and produce strong, powerful contractions, as seen in the thigh. Frequency summation. Frequency summation occurs when the same muscle fiber is stimulated repeatedly by the same neuron at a higher frequency. When nerve impulses reach the muscle rapidly, individual muscle twitches, which are brief contractions produced by a single stimulus, begin to overlap and result in a stronger contraction. At low stimulation frequencies, the muscle fiber partially relaxes between successive stimuli, producing an unfused tetanus in which it does not relax fully. As the frequency of stimulation increases further, there is no relaxation between contractions, leading to a smooth, sustained contraction called fused tetanus, in which there is no relaxation. When a nerve impulse reaches the muscle fiber, calcium ions are released from the sarcoplasmic reticulum into the sarcoplasm. If another nerve impulse arrives quickly, the previously released calcium is not completely pumped back into the sarcoplasmic reticulum. As stimulation continues at a high frequency, calcium ions releases from sarcoplasmic reticulum and begin to accumulate in the sarcoplasm, increasing intracellular calcium levels. The high calcium concentration allows continuous binding of calcium to troponin, keeping the myosin binding sites on actin exposed. This results in continuous interaction between actin and myosin filaments within the sarcomere. As a result, muscle twitches overlap and the force of contraction increases, producing frequency summation. Factors affecting force of muscle contraction. The force of muscle contraction depends on several physiological factors that regulate actin-myosin interaction and muscle activation. The number of active motor units directly influences muscle force. Recruitment of more motor units activates more muscle fibers, resulting in a stronger contraction. The frequency of stimulation also affects force generation. Increased frequency leads to temporal summation, and at very high frequencies, a sustained maximal contraction known as fused tetanus is produced. The initial length of the muscle determines the force developed, as described by the length-tension relationship. Maximum force is generated at the optimal muscle length due to ideal overlap of actin and myosin filaments. The type of muscle fibers presents influences contraction strength. Fast twitch fibers, which contract rapidly and are adapted for short duration, high-intensity activities, generate greater force but fatigue quickly. In contrast, slow twitch fibers, which contract more slowly and are adapted for sustained endurance activities, produce less force but are fatigue resistant. The cross-sectional area of the muscle is directly proportional to its force-producing capacity, as larger muscles contain more fibers arranged in parallel.